Hi friends, welcome back to the Blue Box Stitcher. My name is Catherine and this is a channel all about my cross stitch. I have been away for a while, not really intentionally, fully transparent. I filmed this like 2 weeks ago and just like could not bring myself to edit it because I just like don't think I was in the correct mind space to film. And I was feeling very like enthusiastic about the projects that I was working on, and so I was like, you know what, we're just gonna film it at the end of October and kind of clean slate it for the rest of the year. I am trying to be better about posting on my Instagram if you want like more better updates essentially. And that's the Blue Box Stitcher as well. I always put it in my description box. I also always put the patterns that I talk about, and like I think I also put my story graph down there. And if you have any question about like the flosses or the fabric or anything, you can always comment them below and I will answer them. I just like don't feel like enough people care enough for me to like put that much information in the description box, you know? When if you care, like you can just ask. But I do want to highlight like the designers and stuff in my description box. Today is October 29th. I'm probably gonna post this, hopefully. I'm gonna like call myself out a little bit here. I'm hoping to post it the 30th, tomorrow. So it's later than the 30th and this has just been posted. That's on me. But I live in Austin, Texas. I feel like fall started 3 days ago. Like, I'm like, oh my god, it's chilly. I'm wearing a sweater. Who is she? Who is she? So I'm very jazzed about that. And I was like, you know what? Let's get comfy. Let's get cozy. Let's put a sweater on. I'm like wearing the remnants of last night's makeup that I just put more makeup on top of. I have the tortilla blanket. She's an icon. We love her. And I'm ready to talk about some cross stitch. So yeah, grab your drink. You either need to caffeinate or you need to hydrate. Figure out which one you need. Go get it. Pause this. Go get a drink. Did you do that? You better have. Take a sip. Grab your stitching if you're gonna stitch along. Let's get into it. I have a finish. I think we're all a little shocked by that. I did finish it. In my mind, I wanted to finish this piece by the end of summer, and in my mind I did, because like I said, Austin summer is almost a year-round mindset. Someone told me yesterday that Arizona was hotter than Austin, and I just don't believe that anywhere is hotter than here. Like more humid, sure. I used to live in, this is a tangent, but I used to live in Savannah, the low country, if you will, and that heat would sometimes feel more like oppressive. But I think Austin is different because everything's outside in Austin. Like in Savannah, people were like, yeah, we don't leave the AC. But here, people are like, let's go on a hike. I'm like, do you want to die? Do we all have a death wish? I'm not going hiking. So I feel like the heat's like almost more present here. Anyway, they told me Arizona's hotter and I just don't believe that. Sorry. Anyways, so I finished this almost a month ago at this point. But I wanted to finish by the end of summer, and I do feel like I did weather-wise, at least. The pattern that I'm talking about is Strawberry Moon by Stay Platinum Stitchery. I did it for Marjorie Maid's Strawberry Moon Sow, and here we are. She's so wrinkled, it's unbelievable. But this is what we're working with. I did end up really liking it in the end. I think I mentioned my last Flosstube, I was getting a little burnt out on these clouds, and I'm not like a huge pink person, so I was like, what am I even stitching? But I'll bring you in closer. These little like dots, sparkles, really brought the whole thing together. I really like it. In the end, I'm a little stalled out on how to finish it purely because I don't have an iron, and obviously it needs to be ironed and probably washed. We're gonna TBD on if I'm actually gonna wash it or not. So I need to look up like how to flatten something without an iron or acquire an iron. Neither of which like really feel super pressing right now. I'm gonna be honest. I also don't really know where I want to put this because I really want more cross stitch on my walls. That's something that I've talked about. However, I did like, my roommate really likes pink, and so I had stitched this with the intention of putting it in our living room. But now that it's finished, I'm like, but then I can't look at it every day. Like, I just spend a lot of time in my room when I look at it, when I'm hanging out. I don't know. I feel like some people in their apartments, they spend a lot of time like in their shared living spaces, but I am not good at that because this is my 3rd year now living with like people that I met on Facebook. It's a new person this year. It's been new people each year, and I like my space. Like barring Savannah, which was its own situation, I really like all the roommates that I've had. I'm not good at like hanging out in the living room. I think it's because like I didn't have a TV room growing up. Like our TV was in the basement, so we didn't have like the TV on in the background like a lot of people do when you're like hanging out in the living room. That's like a tangent, but I don't really know what I want to do with this is the point. Like I know how I want to finish it, but I just don't know how to like iron it essentially. I don't know where I want to put it, so I've kind of stalled out on fully finishing it, but I really should because I don't have a lot of finished cross stitch and I want to put it on my walls when I have it. So yeah, I used the called for DMC and then a couple substitutions from Stash just because I didn't want to buy like one extra floss. I also, if you look super closely, I'll like bring you in a little closer. I have 3 unfinished stitches on it, and I had not really been fixed. So they're right, it's really hard to tell, but they're right at the end right here. Wrong side. See, I can't even tell. They're right here. You can see. And I originally hadn't fixed it because I was really aggravated that like 3 half stitches were left and I was gonna have to like get a new thread for that. However, I think I'm actually going to leave it because, and I'm kind of toying around with doing this on all my cross stitch, of leaving like 3 half stitches in an area as kind of like a signature, because why did my dad just text me and ask if I have black eyeshadow? We're going to Rocky Horror Picture Show on Friday. My parents are going to be in town, and I think he's got some plans. I really like that because there are some like half stitches. It's so apparent that it's like, I don't want to say homemade, handmade. That a machine didn't make this, so it's not perfect. Something about that like really appeals to me. Like I went to this museum in Chicago. I went on a friend trip to Chicago, and I'll put a picture up here. But I saw they had an exhibit at the Art Institute of Chicago on like textiles and mourning, and I was super excited because they had a bunch of different types of textiles, but they did have some cross stitch. And aside from like the more classic like mourning samplers that we hear about, they also had Stitchery, which I had known about, which is Palestinian cross stitch. So it's the same actual stitch, but in order for it to be Stitchery, it's like a specific like style of cross stitch, and it's often done on clothing that's like passed down through families, and it's very intricate, and they have like specific motifs that represent different things. And it was so cool. It was so beautiful. It was like truly a work of art. It was so like impactful to see it. And I like dragged one of my friends in with me, who doesn't cross stitch, and I pointed out that there were like 2 stitches that were only a half stitch that weren't fully crossed. And I was like, look, you can see they forgot to go back and finish those stitches. And having that like personalization in a piece just like really, I thought like it just makes something, it's like, it's not just like this thing that's in a museum. Like, I'm thinking about the person who stitched it and how they probably just forgot to go back and cross, like, who of us hasn't done that? So I kind of like the idea of like intentionally leaving a few stitches unfinished to be like almost a signature, like I made this, so it's not perfect, but it's mine, and it's not made by a machine or like freaking AI or something. Like, this is real. So yeah, one last look at her before I figure out what to do. I'm gonna make a soft goal to have this fully finished by the next time I film a Flosstube. We'll see if that happens, but that's my goal. Next up we have, that's my only finish. I am trying to finish some smalls by the end of the year. The end of the year is like 2 months away, so we'll see what I get done. But that was kind of like first on the list. I next have an unexpected start. I thought I only was gonna oh my gosh, I can't speak. I thought I was only going to start one more thing the rest of the year. And I'm gonna talk about that in plans. But I was watching everyone stitch Halloween and I was feeling really left out, and everyone was talking about how like fall was approaching, fall was there like a month ago on Flosstube, and I was like, I'm stuck in the doldrums of summer. And I just like really wanted to participate in all of the Halloween stitching. Halloween is like fun. I do think Halloween's a little bit like crack for gay people, because I don't know, gay people love Halloween, okay? We just do. We love Halloween, and so to me, like, Halloween is like Rocky Horror, like as an adult, versus like the more like spooky trick-or-treat stuff from when I was a kid. So I've never felt like super drawn to like stitch anything super Halloween-y, but I was feeling left out, I was feeling FOMO, and so I decided that if I found like a cool pattern on Just Cross Stitch, the magazine, that was easy and small, I would start it. I found one that's easy, it's not that small, but I did start it. It's called Cursed Spells, Spellcasting, I forget. I'm gonna put a picture right here. It's from the most recent Halloween issue of Just Cross Stitch. I got it from my Libby account through the Austin Public Library, and I already had like a random cut of fabric, and it's like 6 colors and a lot of it is black, so I decided it didn't count if I didn't spend any money on it. It didn't really count as a start. So I'm stitching all of the black first, which is like kind of a cool effect, and this is how far I got. She's kind of stunning. So I have like all of her body done, and like this dress is all one color, so I think this will actually be like really good fill-in for like Zoom calls and stuff like that. So having like that outline kind of done when I finish the black is gonna be super useful. I stitched on her for like a week, and I should have checked before I started this, but I think I did do 600 stitches on this, so like a decent chunk. I've noticed my like stitching stamina has increased, where I think I've realized that I'm not necessarily gonna be an everyday stitcher because my life just doesn't like allow that. But I am starting to increase the amount of stitches I'm doing in one sitting. So even though I'm not stitching every day, I still feel like I'm getting a lot done. And she was just like really fun to work on. And I had a good time. I don't know how much so this is also bigger than I expected. It's like 4,500 stitches, which is like bigger than I wanted a small to be. I know everyone has like a different opinion, and for a lot of people that is a small, but 4,500 stitches is gonna take me like a hot minute to do. But I don't know, she's fun, she's cool. I feel like it's also not so Halloween, where I could totally have this up year round, because she's just like a glowing witch. And then I have not touched it in so long, but I do have a D&D stitch where I'm stitching a wizard during my D&D sessions. I might actually make this my D&D stitch because of all the fill-in, but I think she'll look super cool where it's like this modern cross-stitch piece of a witch next to this kind of like old school dimensions wizard. I think they'll be super cool together. And I'm excited for that. So hopefully one day I can have like a little witchy Dungeons and Dragons mini like wall section. I think would be so fun. So yeah, not too much else to say. Obviously I've only done 310, but I'm obsessed with her. And I really like this fabric. It's on 16 count country French golden, country French golden by Witchell. Something that I've realized is like the Witchell Ada is different than the Witchell linen. So people really go on about how Witchell linen is very hard to stitch on for some people because it's so stiff. I've noticed that like the Witchell Ada that I've gotten is totally fine. Like I have a couple different projects on Witchell Ada. The other one that I have is definitely stiffer that I got from an LNS, but I got this little cut from 123 Stitch when I was buying something else. And I really like it. I think it's a good base color. I'm not always super keen on using brown as a neutral, but for like Halloween, I thought it really fit. So yeah, love her. Next up, I started a new stitching game. It is based off of the Grid Iron Grind. I'm not like super sure what they're saying, to be honest. I don't know who started this challenge. I tried to find out. I wasn't super confident. It seems to have started maybe on Facebook. But it's basically a challenge where you stitch for your favorite football team, so your NFL team. And then based on like what they do during the game, you do a certain amount of stitches. And you can do like multiple projects or one project. I personally was introduced to it through Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She's, you know, an icon of Flosstube. And I don't watch American football. It's personally like one of the only sports that I don't watch. I am going to a football game on Saturday with my family, but that's my first like real football game I'm going to in like 10 years. I love hockey. Hockey is my favorite sport. And my team is the Dallas Stars because I actually do a lot of stuff in the hockey space. And I was like, it would be so fun to do a stitching game for hockey because that's always been something that's interested me. Like I see these people who do the temperature blankets, but for different teams based on like if they win, lose, or tie. And I think those are so cool. And then that's like not really possible to do in cross stitch because it's like kind of that, I don't know, like stitching the lines would be really boring and I couldn't really figure out how to do it with like the temperature things that I found. So then I was like, I'm going to start a game where I'm going to pick one project, and the way that I'm running it for myself, this is kind of niche. I feel like a lot more people are football fans than they are hockey fans, so I don't know if anyone else would be interested, but the way that I'm doing it is, and I'm calling it like frozen stitching, like Frozen Frenzy, but frozen stitching is, I picked one project. It is Spring Night by Luca-S. It's a kit. I'll put it right here. It's full coverage, so that's why I picked it. And basically, the amount of stitching I'm doing is I'm adding up the numbers of all the goal scorers. So, like if Liam Bishel scored, I would only, and I'm doing the Dallas Stars. So if Liam Bishel scores, which, you know, he's a defenseman, I would stitch 6 stitches, but like if I think Wyatt Johnson has a high number, then I would stitch like 90 stitches. I forget exactly what his number is. And then they play like 3 times a week. So it really adds up. I'm currently behind because I had to switch to get some other stitching done before I could go back to this. It's definitely slightly more stitching than I guess I had expected, or realistically, I'm not sure if I can get all that stitching done, but I think it's fun to try. And it also like makes me look at like who scored in each game and kind of remember it. So it's a good way to like follow the team. And I try to stitch while I'm watching. So it's just like a fun routine to have. And I've honestly already done like 500 stitches because of it. So this is what spring night looks like now. I talked about this a few floss tubes ago, but in the beginning of the year, for most of the year, I'd been working on this part. And then in like June, I realized that there are so many stitches of this one color that I just wanted to get those out of the way. And I really wanted to get a lot of block stitching done because I just wanted to get more progress on this. So I had already started doing this, but I filled in so much through the game. And it's so easy because I just have that one floss color and I like cut off a strand and then I just stitch. Like I just go to town. I'm really happy with the progress that I've made. I've stitched like all of this and like a lot down here. And like you can see the outline of the clouds I think are going to be so satisfying to fill in. And then there's all these little confetti spots that I think I'm going to have to learn how to do a pin stitch on, but I'm like excited to do that. And it'll be cool like once I get all of this color done for the page, then like moving on to the next highest color, like the next chunk that I can do. And this had kind of been on the back burner for a few months because I've been doing other things, and this project is so big. It's 22,500 stitches. It's the biggest project that I have, that like sometimes it's easier to pick up something that if I put, X number of stitches in it, it's more progress than if I put, 500 stitches in this, that's like 2% or something. So this is like a really good way for me to like have it out and continually work on it and get really good progress in my biggest project. So I really love how that's going. Like I said, I am behind, but I'm gonna catch up, and I don't know, I've been having fun with it. If anyone wants to join frozen stitching with me, do it. It's fun. That's that. Next up, we know her, we love her, we talk about her every video. I feel like this is my, like if you watch Crafting Gaming Jamie, this is my Autumn Harmony, which is like not even comparable to how much stitching Jamie does on Autumn Harmony, but this is my personal Autumn Harmony. That's of course 2024 Stitch for Pride by These 20 Stitches. I will put the picture up here. This is an out of print pattern because it was only released for 2024, and each motif represents a different queer or trans artist. It's supposed to be one motif a month, so 12 in total. I did not keep up. And I'm manifesting a finish in June 2026, Pride Month. This, you know what, I was not going to take it out of the hoop, but I'm going to take it out of the hoop because we need to see everything that I've done. I've gotten a lot of progress since we last talked, because in September is Sampler September. September was a month ago, but let's grab some coffee while we discuss this. In Sampler September, I wanted to work on my samplers. This was my biggest sampler, and so I decided I wanted to do 2,000 stitches on Stitch for Pride. I wanted to work on the Sriracha bottle, so it was also going to be Sriracha bottle September. And then I also wanted to work on my other samplers. Spoiler alert, didn't touch my other samplers, but I did get a decent amount done on this. I knew going in that 2,000 stitches was a stretch goal, because I normally stitch a little bit more than 2,000 stitches a month, and I did not hit it, but that's fine because I think I did 1,600 stitches, and I think I could have done more, but I ran out of floss. So let's show you where I got to. I gotta fold it so it looks, decent. Boom. Look at her. Look at that. That's a lot of stitching, guys. Okay. That was a lot of work. I still have like maybe 250 stitches at the bottom. I think it ended up not being quite 2,000 when I looked at the, like I don't know exactly, but I think it's not going to come out to 2,000 stitches for just the sriracha bottle. This thread is Habanero by Gentle Art, I think. And this is a whole skein. Whole skein. Should have gotten 2 skeins, did not. And it's really so aggravating. I really don't have that much stitching left at the bottom. And I'm deeply annoyed by that. But I do think she looks really good. I really like the color that I chose. I was nervous it wouldn't fit in with the color scheme, but I think it does. I think it works really well for the sriracha bottle. I just like this top cap is so satisfying to me. And I think it looks really good in general. I'm really happy with it. Like I said, I think that's like 1,600 stitches. So that's a lot of stitching for me for one project in 1 month. I'm hoping to have 6,000 stitches left by the end of the year. We'll see. But yeah, I'm happy with her. I don't know. I feel like I pull this one out every time, but I just don't have that much to say about her because I'm like, this is what we did. This is what we did. I also do think I'm going to make maybe like a halfway mark and then a full, I don't know. Maybe just when I finish it, I'm going to make a dedicated video to just this on all of the flosses that I used, what I thought of all, because I'm kind of using this also as a floss sampler, which has been really fun. Like this at the top here was Sulky. This was Gentle Art. So these two are Gentle Art. I think this was Color and Cotton. And then you'll see at the bottom when I unfold it, I have a couple other flosses. What I thought about the flosses, and then I'd like to go motif by motif and talk about the inspiration behind it and the artist because I don't always remember them when I'm filming the Flosstube, because generally how filming Flosstubes goes is I think, yeah, it's about that time we need to film a Flosstube. And then I put it on my to-do list for the day. And then I don't do it. And then like a day later, 2 days later, I'm just sitting in my bed and I go, I'm filming it now. So, and then I try to keep all my whips in this basket. The basket system has been working very well for me. But because of that, I don't always have like the artist's name and inspiration on the top of my mind because I'm terrible at prepping for these. So I want to make like a dedicated video to it because I know Dee put a lot of work into it and his work and those artists deserve to be recognized and admired. That's where we got there. Now, I'm trying to do 1,000 stitches a month on this. That's like what I need to do to finish it by June, essentially. And I don't think I'm gonna hit 1,000 for October, if I'm being honest. I had that unexpected start. And I just like, I don't know if I was burnt out on this project, but I was just really annoyed about not being able to finish the sriracha bottle. So I wasn't burnt out, I was vexed, is really what happened there. However, I did actually have the thread for the next motif that I wanted to do. So a few days ago, I pulled this out and I was like, okay, we have to put something in it for October. We're probably not gonna hit 1,000 stitches, but like we need to put some stitches in it. And so I started the bottom motif and here's where I am so far. This is a Threadworks thread. I actually don't know the name of it anymore because the like skein thing doesn't have the name on it. It just says Threadworks, which is weird. But if anyone's curious, I can like look at my 1, 2, 3 stitch receipt. So far I really like it. The color is not like really coming out true to color. It's more like glowy golden in person, which I love. When I had started this project at the beginning and wanted to do it on the black Ada, this is one of the ones that I knew I was going to do like a golden yellow, and I knew it was going to look amazing on the black Ada. Some of these I'm like take it or leave it on the black Ada, but this I knew was going to look amazing, and it does. This one I actually do know it's inspired by like the indigenous plants and animals in the background of Frida Kahlo's artwork. So that's super cool, and I have really been enjoying stitching on this. Right now I'm at like 400 stitches, I think. So I'm going to try to get like a few hundred more by the end of the month. And by the end of the month, I mean in 2 days. We'll see. I also really want to stitch on my Halloween piece on Halloween. So I'm not sure what we're going to do there, but I just love how this looks right now. I'm obsessed with it. I think the variegation is turning out really nicely. I have realized through doing this that I do enjoy a subtle variegation more than I thought I would. Like, I thought I would want more of the crazy, like, even this one, the variegation is so stark. And this is DMC, which I love, and, like, my backstitching looks so good, TBH. I brought this to work. I never get to stitch at work because I don't have a lunch break at work. I don't really believe in lunch breaks. I just prefer, I believe in them for other people, but I don't get, like, paid lunch, so I work through lunch, is how that goes. But I have recently changed something. I work, like, 12 or 13-hour shifts, now, like, every couple of weeks. And my boss has started forcing me to clock out for lunch, which is fine, I guess. It makes sense. And I was, like, a little I was not aggravated about it to him because that would be unprofessional, but I was internally a little aggravated about it. And he was like, it's good to use this time to relax. But I also don't live close enough to work. Like, I'm supposed to clock out for, like, an hour and a half. I don't live close enough where I can, like, go home for lunch, and we don't have, like, a cafeteria or anything like that. So I literally just sit at my cubicle and pull out my cross stitch, which I was, like, a little insecure about at first, but it is kind of fun to, like, my coworker, like, came up and was like, oh my god, that's so cool, and I was like, thank you. She really liked my back stitch. She was like, how did you do that? And I was like, skill. I'm kidding, but kind of. And it is really nice to, like, take a beat and just, like, stitch for an hour in the middle of the day, and, like, I don't know. It's like, I'm just not very good at relaxing, so that's one of the reasons that I love cross stitch, because it's a very relaxing hobby, but it's also, like, such an intense hobby that it really vibes with my vibe. Anyway, so I've been working, I, like, worked on it a couple days at work, and that was, like, really fun. And I think I'm gonna, like, continue, like, bringing this particular piece to work because it's such a good way to get, like, 100 and odd stitches on a day that I normally would never stitch, because, you know, if I'm getting to work at 10 a.m. and I'm getting home at, like, past midnight, you know, there's no room for stitching there. Yeah. Here, I'll show you the full one. This is what we're working with so far. It's, like, actually kind of coming together. I think that, like, bottom yellow is making it, like, more filled out. I mean, it's starting to kind of be satisfying to, like, move across the page. Like, I think the first page is completely done, and that second bottom page is almost completely done. I just need to do this tiny little corner of the sriracha bottle, and then it'll be done. So, I don't know, it's, like, finally starting to look like I'm making progress on this, which is good, because she's so big. Yeah, it's, like, 13,000 stitches in total, and I think right now I'm at 40%. So, I don't know. I can't wait to spend, like, $100 framing this. I've got to start saving up, because I will not be framing this. After all that work, no. I do want to learn how to frame. Like, I want to learn how to lace, and that's what I plan on doing. I don't plan on, like, getting most of my cross stitch framed. My goal is to do it myself. But I, like, rub my eye and get, maybe it's the light coming in from the window. Got real distracted by my image. Yeah, that's that. Moving on. This is the other cross stitch that I'm doing that I want to be done by the end of the year. So this is my other, like, monthly goal, and I think I'm gonna hit it. I know I'm gonna hit it, actually. I'm very confident. The question is just, like, how how soon can I finish it is what I'm looking for. It's Capybara Tea Time by Needlelot Designs. Put a picture up here. It was on their Patreon. I always forget to mention this. When I started it, it was their Patreon. Maybe it was Ko-Fi. It was like their Ko-Fi monthly pattern where you can join their Ko-Fi for $5 a month and then you get a free pattern. And then that pattern isn't released until like 6 months later or something. And then it is like more expensive. So not only are you getting it earlier, you're paying less for the pattern. I actually only joined it for like 2 months. I got like a Mothman pattern that I might stitch. I'm getting more into Mothman recently. But like this is going to take me a year, so it's just not worth it to be in anyone's Ko-Fi or Patreon, to be honest, because I just don't stitch that quantity of things. So she is like commercially available now. But when I started her, she wasn't. And this is where she's at. I also stitched on this at work and it was fun. It looks so good. So good. I can't even. It's getting the whole capybara outlined was such a satisfying thing and such an achievement. And I'll take you closer in. She just looks amazing. Needlelot Designs is just so good with like taking relatively simple designs, and they like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of block stitching in this, but it just looks like her color choices are just so good. And I'm really obsessed with her. I'm like missing a few flosses, like this flower. I somehow lost the orange halfway through. I don't even know. So I think there's like 2,000 stitches left on this. Not even. It's got to be like 1,500. No, it's 1,000. There's 1,000 stitches left on this, which is crazy. I had originally wanted to finish it in November because I have some December stitching I have planned to pull out some really old projects and finish them. But I have like a lot of monthly goals for November already that I'll talk about soon. So I just want to be as close to a finish as I can by December, essentially. I might need like a couple days in December to like finish her up, but she'll be done. And it will be the biggest piece I will have finished so far in cross stitch. 6,000 stitches. Not a lot for some people, but it's a lot for me. And I'm really excited, and it'll just be like really good to have it on my wall, and I think it'll just be like really motivating to be like, yeah, I stitched on this on and off for a year and I finished it. Like, she's done. I think it'll be so satisfying. So this was also like such a spur of the moment start. I saw it on Needlelot Designs Instagram and was like, you're coming home with me. Last but not least, we have Progress Goose by Fine Frog Stitching. Picture. I like lost some of the flosses for this, and it has obviously a progress flag on it, so I was nervous about doing color substitutions. So she kind of got put away. I was working on her in September a lot, but this is like another one that's like, this is so small, like I really should finish this by the end of the year. This is what it looks like. So I'm almost completely done with the goose. I just need to put his beak in. I'm really annoyed because I just took two random oranges out of my stash to do his feet. So I was like, well, that I can do. Then I put them away, and then I realized they're also used in his beak. So I have no idea what floss I used for his feet, and I need to figure that out. So that's also why I haven't been stitching on him. It's on an 18 count mystery fabric from Color and Cotton. It also reminded me that I like stitching on 18 count, and I can. Sometimes I get arm pain, so I tend to be like very cautious about how much stitching I do and the count that I do it in. That's why I feel like 16 is a good medium for me, because 14 is just too big, to be honest. But 16, you know, my stitches look good, but it's not too small that's gonna like aggravate my arm. But I was stitching on this and had no issues, so that made me feel like maybe I should stitch more in 18 count as well. And I do 2 strands, which like sometimes my stitches look bulky, but I kind of like that. I've already finished all the white in this, but I did see Subpar Stitching talk about how if you railroad when you do white stitches, which I don't railroad in general, I don't need like another step in an already, I don't want to say tedious because I like cross stitching, but an already long process, time consuming process. That's the word I'm looking for. So I don't generally railroad, but she did say like railroading your white stitches makes a huge difference because I think every stitcher kind of hates their white stitches. So I didn't do it in this piece because that was after I finished the Goose, but I think I will start doing that going forward. And yeah, I am having fun with her. I think she's cute. She needs to be done by the end of the year. But there's just like so many days in a week, you know? And I got all these things I want to do. Let's talk about plants. Now that we're at the bottom, let's talk about plants. Okay, so I guess my first plan is in 2 days it's going to be November, which is Nora November for Nora Corbett, who does the Mirabilia designs. And then she also has designs under Nora Corbett that are smaller. The like lower of Nora Corbett and just like the Nora Corbett universe is crazy. Like her mom also did patterns under various names like Lavender and Lace, and I think Told in a Garden is also her mom. Like that's a cross stitch dynasty over there. But I'm gonna be doing Fern. I'll put a picture up here, and I've had this on my list since the beginning of the year, since I made my beginning of the year plans. I was kind of nervous about starting a big piece towards the end of the year because I've really like locked in to making progress on my stitching, which will definitely factor into the plans that I make yet next year for sure. But I just watched this really like name dropping Flosstubers day but I was just watching Cross Stitch the Globe talk about their Nora Corbett plans for Nora November, and Stephanie was like showing her some of her haul, and I got really excited. So I am really excited. I also won Fern from another Flosstuber, Emily C. She did like a lottery where you could buy tickets, and then they were donated to the charity that she works for, which was super cool. And I only bought one ticket. It was $5. I didn't expect oh gosh, I just started burping. I didn't expect anything of it, but I won this huge haul from her that I always think I need to make a Flosstube video about, but I don't. Maybe this is my sign I should. But one of them that I won was Fern, which was already on my to stitch list for this year. So I'm glad I hadn't bought anything by then. So I won the pattern and I won all the flosses, and I actually won fabric as well, but it's linen. I did win some linen fabric. I think like when I have more followers, I'm gonna do like a linen giveaway because I don't stitch on linen. I'm like a little tempted to stitch a little thing on one of the linens that I got just to like see what it's like. But I don't know. I like vibe with Ada. I think it matches like what I want out of the craft, which is something easy. I think linen's like a little too complicated for me, and I like the simple vibe of Ada. Like linen almost feels like too fancy for me, like too bougie for the cross stitch vibe that I want. But I'm really excited to start her. I like that she has pants. And that's my only start plan for the rest of the year. Potentially. December's a whole other beast. I'm kind of like a free-for-all in December. I'm gonna see how I feel. I have bought, I guess I'll put it up here. There's like a frog pattern that I have that I think would be cute to stitch in December if I have the extra stitching space. So that's like, so my plan for November is to just get as much stitching as I can done on all of my like required stitching, quote unquote. This is a hobby, nothing is required, but I want to get a bunch of stitching done on Nora, at least 500 stitches, hopefully more, for Nora November. And then I want to stitch at least 1,000. I want to stitch 1,000 stitches because I didn't make it this month, so I need to make it next month. I want to stitch 1,000 stitches on my 2024 Stitch for Pride. I need to purchase more floss. I originally had a trip planned to Under the Sea Fabrics in San Antonio. That's like an hour and a half, 2 hours for me. I like haven't really been feeling up to making that drive. I just like, I don't know, I'm kind of enjoying a slower, relaxing off days now. So I think I am actually going to just put in a 1, 2, 3 stitch order, I hate to say. But I do want to go to Under the Sea Fabrics at some point. I just don't think I can fit it in. I think it needs to be like oh my god, I'm going to go down to Under the Sea Fabrics and like have a little treat myself day. Not I need fabric for Fern, so I need to go to Under the Sea Fabrics and I need to fit it into my schedule, and that's too stressful for me. I think I just need to do 1, 2, 3 stitch, because also if you didn't know, they're based like just outside of Dallas, I believe, and you can actually go and pick up your order if you live in the area. I live like 3 hours from Dallas, so it's not worth it for me, but because they're so close and they also have flat shipping, it's like $3.95. I get them and they ship super quickly. They come super quickly because I live so close. So it's really convenient to order from them. I know for like people outside of the US, it's different. Yeah, I can't even imagine it. Like I will not be purchasing from anyone outside of the US anytime soon. And I don't even feel patriotic like that. I just can't pay the tariffs. I can't afford those. So I'm going to buy some more floss for my 2024 Stitch for Pride. I'm going to purchase some fabric for Fern, which means that I don't think I'm going to start her on November 1st, unfortunately, but I have other stitching that I want to get done, so that's fine. And then I also want to get as far as I can in Capybara tea time, so that I just have like December kind of open to like work on the couple winter projects that I have, not worry so much about my goal stitching because I'm a little bit ahead. And then if there are any like smalls that I want to pull out and be like, I'm going to spend, 2 days on this, 3 days on this and get it done, then I can do that without worrying so much about completing my goals by the end of the year. That's all my stitching. I hope you enjoyed. Now I'm going to talk about what I've been reading, watching, playing. So if you're not interested in that, that's totally fine. You can skedaddle, get on with your day. But if you want to, you can stay. I have been in a huge reading slump. I don't even know if I finished a book. This month, I read The World's Greatest Just Okay Detective in September. That was decent. It wasn't like anything to like write home about, but it was cute. I got it from the library. I have another book from the library that I need to read that's actually overdue. And then I have a book that I'm going to pick up at my bookstore, my local bookstore. I felt like I should order a book from there because I go there all the time for events, so I wanted to support them. If you're ever in Austin, go to Birdhouse. We love. So I have some books like on my TBR that I would like to get through. But I've honestly, I started 2 different books this month and I DNF'd the first one. I don't even know if I'm going to finish the second one. Can someone explain to me why? This is my issue with YA. I want the drama, the angst of when you're a teen, but not the foolishness. Or I want the I'm fine with the foolishness and that they're teenagers that are making bad decisions, but it's always obviously adults are the one writing the books. And sometimes I'm like, did you go to high school? What were you doing in high school? They want to the characters either come out so cliched teenager that they're so flat, and then it's always so cringy. And being a teenager is cringy, but not in a adult imitating a teenager cringe. Whenever they talk about smoking, they're I put the cigarette to my lips, but I didn't inhale, and it was such a big deal. And I'm like, girl, have you met a high schooler today? When I was in high school, everyone smoked and everyone vaped. do I like worry for the lungs of our generation and worry that like, you know, we were going to like quit nicotine as a society and then we didn't? Yeah, but like this whole like it's so cringy, but adults write about it. I don't know. I just can't. I can't. So I like, and then I want to read like a YA mystery. Like I think they're so fun, but they never write teenagers well. I don't know what the deal is there. Like if you've read like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I ate those books up because the mysteries were really good in them, but like God, are the characters insufferable, and not in a everyone's insufferable when they're a teenager way, in a this person who wrote this has never been to a high school party before and it shows. Like it's fine if you didn't. I didn't go to like parties in high school, but you know, I'm like socially aware. I know what they were like. Now I sound cringy too, but I'm just saying. Like, so I read this book called The Agathas that I would not recommend, and everyone loves it, and I'm like, I cannot stand these girls. So reading has been kind of out of the equation. Watching, I just started rewatching Lucifer, which I'm really enjoying. I got up to like season 4 when I originally watched it, and then I was like watching it with my friend, and we don't live together anymore, so for a while I was like, it's a betrayal to watch Lucifer. Now I'm like, okay, we live in different states. She's not gonna be offended if I turn on Lucifer. She never would be. It was just in my head. So I started watching that, which has been fun. I've obviously been watching like a lot of hockey. I haven't really been paying attention to the World Series, which sucks because I literally am a Blue Jays fan, but I'm just not a baseball person as much these days. Anything else interesting? Bob's Burgers is always on. Oh, for like Halloween, I actually watched it more in September because I just wanted to feel the fall vibes, even though I wasn't seeing them outside. I watched Haunted Hotel, I think it's called, on Netflix, which is like an adult animated comedy that I really liked. I would recommend that. Yeah. I don't like watch a ton of different stuff. I kind of have the same thing on at all times. Like it's either Flosstube or Bob's Burgers, and then every once in a while I'm like, we gotta branch out. I just feel like I have a lot of shows that I love. I just don't think they make shows like Psych anymore. You know what I mean? Nothing hits like Psych. And Doctor Who is in its own drama right now. I liked Nchutikawa. I'm gonna put it out there. I liked him. I thought he was really finding his stride in season 2. Now that's a whole mess. But when between the land and sea, I think it's called, The War Between Land and Sea, which is about the Sea Devils, which is really fun because I read the Target paperback about the Sea Devils. But I've never actually seen like I've never seen Old Who. I mainly read the Target paperbacks. So I've never seen them like on TV, so I'm really excited for that. When that comes out, I'm definitely gonna bring out my Doctor Who sampler. But they just announced a 2026 Christmas special, which is a year away. But that's fine. BBC needs to like figure it out. What I've been playing, Stardew Valley. I was playing a lot of Pokemon actually in September. I have like a Piplup cross stitch that I need to put on my wall. I'm starting like a gallery wall over here, but I just put the one up. So I need to put like the couple other ones that I have up there and then like slowly build it so that I have a more interesting background. You know, we got this mushroom poster now that you can't even see. But yeah, I was playing a lot of Pokemon. I really, really, really want a new Pokemon game. I want Arceus, Pokemon Z to A, Pearl, but I'm looking for like a good secondhand version, or I'm gonna try to do like a Black Friday sale and see what happens. So I was playing a lot of Pokemon. Now I'm playing a lot of Stardew Valley, back in my Stardew Valley. She comes around like every 3 months and like pulls me under. And really enjoying, you know, my farm. I have like the animal farm that was new in the last update. I've never seen my ducks go in the river, but that's fine. But I'm trying to like, I have had 2 previous farms, and then I have like a shared farm with my friends. But for my current save, I'm like really trying to like 100% it. So trying to like really get to the end before starting a new farm. So I'm really enjoying that. Beyond that, I feel like I don't have a lot to say. I don't know. I'm just like trying to figure it out, as we all are, I guess. So I think my parting message is just, you know, I hope everyone is being kind to themselves, doing things that fulfill them and make them feel happy, and whatever way they can is taking care of themselves and doing the boring things too. Sorry, taking a shower is self-care. Doing your laundry is self-care. So do those things too. And I hope everyone is doing as well as they can be in these times. And I will talk to you soon. If you stuck around this long, leave a moon emoji for Strawberry Moon and for the spooky Halloween moon. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!